What? Like after the driving school?
Yeah, like I was like, all right, let's see what's up, and then I was like, nah, man.
Oh shit! Yeah, she was a little annoying, but
Yeah, no,
good.
I remember I was going to fucking, I had morning lifting for football, and I remember I was like trying to get my sleep, and she started blowing my phone because she goes to Mater Dei. Remember, she would talk about that shit, so she had to be at school at 6 a.m. And it's so, bro, like she was on her break. It was 6:30 in the morning or whatever. I'm like blowing up my phone, and I had 96 missed calls. And my friend Danny looked at my phone. He's like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Yeah, I gotta end this shit, bro. I can't do this."
Damn, did you get it though?
I'm gonna tell you. I tried, and like when I smelled it, I was like, "Nah."
Damn. Oh man, it smelled like patis or what, dog?
Oh, it's mapanghe, like a motherfucker.
Oh man, that's funny. I had a friend that'd be like, "Oh, what's wrong? You don't like pussy?"
No, I do. I just don't like it when it smells like that.
Oh, bro, I like the beep, bro.
Shit. What an intro. We're live. So,
okay.
Welcome to the Cave Podcast. We are talking about fish sauce smelling genitals.
Filipino food.
Joined by Kyle Lopezvito, one of my childhood friends, training partner, and brother from another mother. Welcome, Kyle. How you doing, my man?
I'm honored. I'm doing well, guys. Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I mean, we've all kind of known Kyle. Andrew went to high school with Kyle. Jermaine's known Kyle, and this is Pat and Kyle's first introduction, but I'm sure they get along. What's up?
What's up, Pat?
No connection. What's going on?
So, Kyle, just give us a recap of what's going on with you. I know you have some significant life events that just occurred, and that's probably up ahead of you. So, just kind of give us a recap on what's good with you these days.
Yeah, well, currently, or I should say recently, I had my third amateur fight, and I pretty much got my ass whooped, dude.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so just to give you some context, me and Jarrell started training. We got into a promotion called IFS, International Fight Showdown, and it's pretty much an amateur circuit in the OC, IE region, but they hold it like probably every couple of months. Full contact, elbows, knees, blah, 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 blah. I won my first fight. I think it was a tomato can though, bro, to be honest with you, because it was a pretty easy win. And then my second fight, I pretty much invited like 30 people, because you have to sell tickets in order to fight. Like you have to sell a certain amount of tickets. So I sold a group of tickets, trained hard as fuck. Excuse my language. I can curse, right?
Yeah, you could curse.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, I was prepared, man. I was sober. I quit smoking cigarettes. I was running like 3 miles a day. Like Jarrell knows, man. We were training pretty hard, bro.
Yeah.
We didn't have, like a gym that we were going to. It was kind of just me, Jarrell, one of my homies, a couple guys from another gym, and we kind of just, went to LA Fitness, held pads, kind of did light sparring.
Yeah. We'd go visit gyms every now and then. That was a cool thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But long story short, we got to the weigh-in day. It was the same day weigh-in, and I made the weight, and then I saw the guy, and he was like this skinhead looking dude with like tattoos all over, and I was low-key, bro, like I'm a softie at heart, and I saw him, and I was like, ooh, kind of intimidating. You know what I mean? But I was feeling pretty confident in my abilities. But to be real, dude, like when you jump in that ring and he's in front of you, it's a whole different ball game, bro. And like 30 people are watching you that you love, and they want you to win. It is nerve-wracking. So again, long story short, when so they give you the option to put out a walkout song, right? So I did some gangster ass song. I think it was like Tupac, God Bless the Dead, or something like that. And so funny thing, dude, this is the catch. the walkout song was so important to me because it gets you hyped up, man. You know, you walk out and you want to get hyped up. But right before my fight, specifically my fight, the audio went out and they didn't play my song. Yeah, and then the guy who's like announcing, oh, this guy in the blue corner, blah, 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 he had no microphone, no audio. So he was basically yelling into the audience, like, this is blah, blah, blah from the blue corner, blah, blah, blah from the red corner. And it was like, it was janky, dude. Yeah. And then this guy was so aggressive. He didn't really have technique, but he just came with haymakers, bro. Just boom. And I was like a deer in headlights, like, oh, shit. So I put my guard up, and I thought I had it up higher, but I had it pretty low because I was nervous. And he swung, and I just kept taking shots. And every time I was taking a shot, all I could think about was everybody watching that I loved, seeing me get my ass kicked. And I got really psyched out, bro. And yeah, I got my ass kicked, man. My second fight, I got fucked up. Took a long break, got into a relationship with a toxic girl to heal my wounds, so to speak. And
it never goes well, right?
Yeah. So you know what? I took that loss very bad because I basically just walked out with my parents, went home, you know, depressed, smoked a bunch of cigarettes, ended up dating this girl. She was a narcissist. Oh, bro, it was a mess. And then, you know, I was out of the game for like a whole year. And then just recently, I think it was September 30th, I had a fight camp from August, mid-August to the fight day, September 30th. And the reason why I took that fight was because from my last fight up until, you know, a couple months ago, I haven't been really doing well, man. You know, I've been dealing with depression. I've been dealing with a lot of, you know, financial issues with my parents. You know, I've been diagnosed with like depression and anxiety, you know, the typical stuff. So I figured, you know what? Let me, you know, try to get a fight to motivate me to get back into shape, to get back into fighting shape, and, you know, start building those habits again. And I did, and then, you know, in the middle of fight camp, I went through some more shit and just ended up smoking a pack a day, bro. And my coach was like, yo, this guy is 6'1", he's African American, he's very genetically gifted. Like, you need to have good cardio. Like, if you don't quit smoking, there's a good chance you're going to lose. Lo and behold, didn't quit smoking. You know, I thought I could just go in there and you know, do my best, but this guy fucked me up, man. He had the coaches saw him fight at Commerce Casino a couple weeks ago, and they were like, you know what, man, this guy doesn't check kicks, you know, so he's got skinny legs, chop his leg down, keep chopping his leg down, and if he starts, you know, stumbling, then start swinging on him. But in the ring, like when he was in front of me, this fool looked like Lamar Odom, bro. Like just long, tall, and every time he would throw a front kick to get distance, like I lost breath, you know, like it would take the wind.
He was stabbing the teeps or what?
Yo, dude, he was that's the perfect word, bro. Like he was stabbing the teeps, and he had really, really long legs. So every time I would try to use the game plan and chop his leg down, his lead leg down, he would just step back and then do like a Superman punch type of thing. And I was like, oh my God, like we need a different game plan, bro, because I can't even kick his leg. So, yeah, so honestly, I mean, I did pretty well the first round. I clipped him with a couple good shots. And then the second round, I got pretty tired, and fortunately, you know, we were able to clinch because it wasn't K1 rules. If you guys are familiar with K1, K1 just no elbows, no knees, no clinch. But fortunately for this one, it was Muay Thai rules. So there's clinch, elbows, knees, et cetera, et cetera. So when I got tired, I was like, okay, my clinch is pretty good. I'm pretty confident in my clinch. So let me just like grab his head, put him on my chest, and just knee him, right? And then as soon as I got him in the clinch, I felt like his traps. I felt his traps in his deltoids and his neck, and it was like rock solid, bro. I was like, okay, maybe this clinch is not going to work out very well. So lo and behold, he got the underhooks, and he was just using his long Lamar Odom knees to just destroy my ribs, bro. Oh, yeah. And then third round, fortunately I survived that round, and my coach was like, man, like you need a knockout to win this, okay? And I'm like, okay, right?
So that's like saying you need like a home run, pretty much, right?
Yeah, basically. So the way I lost, it was pretty weird, man. I lost because I was getting clipped like with some really good hooks, but I was standing my ground, and then we got close to one of the corners, like the corner rope, and then he did some sort of like sweep maneuver that was whack, but I stumbled, and the way I fell, I like grabbed onto the rope. Like I looked like I was like out of control, like I got knocked out. And because I grabbed the rope and I fell, the ref was like, yeah, and I was like, dude, I literally just tripped and grabbed the rope. That looks so bad. Like I could have gotten up and kept fighting, I could have at least finished the fight, but he got a TKO. So long story short, the dude's 24. He fights out of Huntington Beach. He's extremely talented, man. He fights out of HB Fight Club. He's 24, super talented. There's a good chance he might be in the UFC, man, because at this rate, I think he's already had like 4 amateur fights. So after that, you take off the pads, you take off the shin guards and whatnot. And then after, building a good record, then you can become a pro. So I think this guy's on his way, man. I told him straight up, like, I'm 33, I'm like about to leave the game. I'm just doing this for like fitness and mental health. But for you, bro, like, keep pushing it, man, because you have potential, you have talent. I told him straight up, and he ended up being a Christian. He told me, God bless you. And I was like, oh, damn, cool, bro. All right. God bless you too. You're a nice guy.
Nah, you should have been like, fuck that. I won that fight.
Fuck you.
Can you imagine watching him on a pay-per-view fight and Kyle's like, hey, that guy kicked my ass.
Yeah. Bro, actually, when I played for shitty Irvine High School basketball, we played against Santa Margarita, and Clay Thompson dunked on me.
Oh, shit.
Fun fact. Yeah.
Yeah, Clay Thompson was in our circuit, right? He was in our leagues.
Yeah, he was in our league. Clay Thompson, bro, crazy.
Fucking crazy.
But
see what Clay Thompson did to Devin Booker? That shit was funny.
Yeah, that shit was hilarious, too. Bro.
4 rings.
Who would you think would win in a fight between those guys?
I'll put Clay.
I think it'd be sloppy, bro. It'd be so sloppy.
Yeah, it'd be a fight between two dudes who don't know what the fuck they're doing, but I think Clay would walk out of that one.
I think Devin
he's got a high hand.
Devin would be like, I won that shit.
It was like, I won. I'm dating Kylie. Bro, she broke up with your ass.
Fuck. Is it Kylie or the other one?
Or was it Kendall? Kendall, yeah, my bad. Yeah. Whatever. One of the two plastic.
Straight up.
They got some fighters on Warriors.
The one who tried to end the war with Pepsi. Remember that one? That stupid ass commercial.
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
But yeah,
let's go to Ukraine and give Russia a Pepsi.
The few days after a loss is fucking weird, bro. There's definitely a gray cloud. But later down the line, I mean, if you keep at it, it's necessary. You know what I mean? Like you asked me about my loss when I lost that last fight, bro. Like you said, we were just fucking homies, just doing it. I was talking to a guy on the podcast last time, and he's a trainer, and I was like, dude, honestly, me and my friends were just the homies doing karate in the garage, you know? Kyle, bro, can you imagine how big our heads would be if we fucking killed these fools just doing karate in the garage?
Hey, honestly, man, I think we could, bro. You know, I think we could.
I think the potential was there. We didn't have the coaches, like you said. We didn't go to the gyms, but I think the work ethic. We didn't. I mean, my second training camp, I was so high off the first one, dude. I'm like, I'm gonna knock this fool out, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was like,
dude, that first one, you made that dude's face bleed, bro. That shit was crazy.
See, that's the thing. Like, that first one, when I saw the guy I was fighting, I'm like, bro, I've sparred with harder people than this fool. So I already knew that whatever this guy had, like, I had training partners that could probably beat him. So this is free food.
The first guy?
Yeah, the first guy. The second fight, like, I kind of respected him. I feel like, damn, this could be even. You know what I mean? The only thing is, like, I don't think, like, my stance was different from his stance, and I didn't have the I had the intelligence of distance, but I didn't have the intelligent understanding of the square stance for Muay Thai with the leg kicks, opposed to the boxing darted kind of, you know, side stance. And, you know, my style was bladed. My style was super bladed, you know? So, dude, the back of my calf was hella exposed.
Yeah, that's the thing, dude. Yeah, we were talking about that with the other coach. The guy was he was really athletic, bro. He's kind of ripped and bit of a height advantage, but his calf kicks were very like sharp, very, very sharp. Did you feel it? Did you feel it dig into your calves?
You know what? It felt like a baseball bat to my calves, like it should have felt, you know. And honestly, adrenaline was kicking in, so it didn't really bother me. What bothered me was I felt like my knee was going to give out. Like that third round, I knew too. Like I needed a knockout to win, and it's fucking crazy. Like I knew I was in that moment. Damn, I'm in this position where I need a knockout to win. That's crazy. I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, I was moving around because I'm, you know, my style's more moving around, and my knee was starting to buckle. So I was like, oh shit, like my movement is impaired, you know. But I ain't gonna be a bitch and switch southpaw, dude. I was gonna be like, nah, fuck yeah, these kicks are pussy, dog. So I kept walking them down, but the hardest part about it, I think, losing like that was the fact that you know, I was limping for a bit. I was out for like 4 or 5 months, and on top of that, you have that L lumen on top of your head, you know what I mean? The cool thing about this was I hella respected my opponents. I was like, bro, you won, you know what I mean? To the point where I'd want a rematch. I really think like now with my understanding of this stance and like Muay Thai over boxing, I feel like I got this guy next if we did a rematch, you know? And frankly, I'd want a rematch with him specifically.
For sure, dude.
But like that L of like, damn, like I wouldn't have understood and studied Muay Thai the way I did with the different stances. If you guys don't know, bladed stance is more of like a skateboard stance, you know, like you're on the side. And then square stance, Muay Thai is more like if your back's against the wall and you're kind of like square, you know what I mean? So Muay Thai has leg kicks. So if you're in a skateboard stance, you could just think about it. Someone could kick you on your calves and they sweep you pretty hard, you know? So that's kind of what boxing versus Muay Thai was. So that's what I was leaning on, just a $1 million shot, bro. So yeah, it makes you a better fighter. It makes you a better fighter, you know, at the end of the day.
And I feel like since your legs were taken away, your strengths are in your striking, your hands, bro. Mm-hmm. So you weren't able to close the distance anymore and reach them. You know what I mean? Because you're pretty crafty with your striking. You can cut angles. You can kind of, you know, throw like overhands with your head to the side.
Right.
You know, I'm more like in front of you. You know, I don't really move to the side, but you be doing that kind of stuff. So
also the thing is,
yeah, so
like you and I are both technical, kind of like, you know, we fancy the art and like, you know, the fundamentals, but really when you're competing, you have to have a switch of like a fucking primal animal. Like, I'm gonna fuck this fool up. Like, this fool took shit from my family. I'm gonna fuck him up. I've seen it in you, bro. Like, and I've sparred with you. I've seen you fight. I haven't seen it, dog. I've seen it only on the basketball court. And I saw this fool at LA Fitness getting down with this big ass fucking Persian dude. And that's the first time that's the first time I've ever seen anybody throw leg kicks in a street fight, bro. That shit was
wild. Dude, that was like when we were fucking like 21. Bro, yeah. I thought I was like, this is when I first started training martial arts, you guys. All right, check this. So I trained.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I trained at OC Kickboxing. It was like a mid gym, all right? And I literally, because I was kicking the bag really hard. I didn't have any hands at all. I would just kick the bag, practice my kicks. So all the coaches would hype me up. Great kicks, bro. Great kicks. And I'm like, dude, I'm a fucking kicker, man. I'm going to kick the fuck out of everybody, bro. You know? So, wait, what was I going to say? I'm sorry. I apologize.
We got to fight. We got to fight on the basketball court, and you were kicking this fool.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He really was kicking this fool.
I can't believe you remember that, dude. So yeah, we were playing a pickup game. I think Ryan was there too. I don't remember, bro.
Ryan or Francis?
Maybe Francis. Yeah, but that was embarrassing, dude. Because I think that fool knew how to fight.
It wasn't embarrassing. I was like, damn, bro. I need to get my kicks like that.
No, I think I threw a teep kick, a front kick, and he caught it. He caught that. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that. I just remember you spamming body kicks, bro. I'm like, shit.
Dude, he caught it, pulled me, and I was like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. Maybe I should stop doing this. But yeah, that's crazy. You remember that? Yeah, dude. You guys ever have those moments where you think of something embarrassing? And I think Bill Burr says this in one of his stand-ups where, like, you think about something embarrassing that you've done and you like kind of scream out loud, like, yeah.
Yeah, because you want to get it out of your head. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, bro. And that's how I feel about all of my fights. Like, I'll be in the shower taking a shit, and I'll think about like getting punched in the face by this fool, and I'm like,
Or you'd be just chilling, minding your own business. And then out of nowhere, you're having a good time, and that shit comes to your head like, God damn it.
Exactly.
Interesting was called Cody Garbrandt after he got knocked out, I think, the second time by TJ Dillashaw. My sister saw him at the Mission Viejo Mall, right? And obviously, Cody Garbrandt, yeah.
Oh, shit.
So my sister obviously saw him and like was like looking at him like, oh, shit, that's Cody Garbrandt, you know? And my sister was like, yeah, he looked mad. He was mad dogging me. And that made me think of like, I mean, the way I felt after I lost, and I feel like every fighter after they feel like they lost, they feel like everybody saw that shit. You know what I mean? So like you're walking around like random places and, people see like, oh shit, that's Cody Garbrandt. But Cody's thinking like, fuck, this bitch saw me get knocked out, probably talking shit. You know what I mean? That's self-projection. And it's also, do you think there's anything beneficial to that as a fighter? Because I think that's normal after a loss. You know what I mean? And I feel like not even fighting, I feel like that's prevalent anywhere. Like you hit on a girl and you get rejected. The next girl, you're like, oh, she's probably going to reject me too. You know what I mean? Like, is there anything beneficial to that? Or is that totally like, if you want to talk angel and demon on your shoulder, that's like the devil kind of thing. You know what I mean?
You do better. Like I fucking bomb at an open mic, my jokes don't land at all. I feel like everybody thinks, like I'm embarrassed as fuck.
Oh yeah,
people stop me trying these jokes for but now I know where it work, and that's what succeeded.
You do stand up, Andrew?
I used to. I might come back when this kid grows up. We'll see when I get more free time.
You're gonna have that kid content.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's fatherhood stuff.
Andrew, turn your mic up a little bit.
But I think it's just human nature, though. Like after that, you just develop insecurity after shit like that, like because it bothers you, and It's just your mind kind of just saying, fuck, man, everyone saw this shit. And you just, like I said, you're just developing insecurity. And part of that is just saying, fuck it, you know, get over it.
Yeah.
Some people get over it, some people don't.
Yeah.
I'm out now.
A little bit higher, Andrew.
Yes.
You're choppy.
Yeah, you're choppy.
Maybe move the mic closer to you.
Yeah, how about this? Is that cool? Is that any better? Still choppy?
It's not choppy, but it's just not loud.
Yeah, turn it up. Turn it up. How do you guys deal with that? I feel like everyone has a different way of dealing with that, right?
Dealing with insecurities,
Yeah.
I kind of just tell myself that's just life, bro. Like at the end of the day, people don't really give a fuck about you. You know, I try to tell myself that people may say shit, but at the end of the day, no one really gives a fuck about what you do. Because I certainly don't. Like I could watch you, like I could watch like say Kyle or you, Jarrell. Like if you guys, I'd be like, damn, y'all motherfuckers got fucked up. But at the end of the day, I don't give a shit. I was like, because at the end of the day, you were brave enough to get in that fucking ring and do it. You know, so that outshines that. For me, like, I don't care if you got fucked up. You got in that ring and you did what you could.
Yeah. Plus, the thing too is like people admire like resilience and like the ability to like overcome that type of like failure and stuff because it comes with everything. You know, whether you're in a sport or like maybe you apply for a position you want and you don't get it. You know, there's so many different types of failures. So. But I think people admire, you know, the more resilient you are.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about what people are thinking, you know?
Yeah. No, that's true. And I like to say that if you're not cringing at your past, you ain't growing.
Right. That's
Wow.
right.
I like that.
You know?
Wow, that's powerful.
Imagine looking back and saying everything you're doing is cool. You're like, imagine back then, I used to do a lot of stupid shit. I cringe a lot of shit I do. And I get those memories in the shower. I'm like, God damn it. Why the fuck am I thinking about it? You know? But then I'm also happy about that because I'm like, yo, at least I'm smart enough now. Like, I don't want to do that shit again.
Yeah.
You have the wisdom to recognize it.
Exactly. And
yeah,
I think that's part of like the other
I feel the
side
same
of
way.
it. Yeah. You develop that insecurity, but at the end of the day, it's do you get past it or you let that shit haunt you?
Yeah, you know, and I also feel like it's a path to ego death, if you will, because once you start, like you said, accepting, you know, your reality, like whether you lose or you fail a test or whatever, if you dwell on it, then it's just gonna, you know, kind of corrode your mental health, your well-being. But once you get over it, you're able to just, you know, you're forced to self-reflect and find or identify your shortcomings and, you know, find a plan of action to strengthen your weaknesses, if you will. I don't know if that makes sense.
It's like looking back at yourself and say, well, what can I do better? And you strive to do better than that. But if you're
learning
someone,
from your mistakes,
exactly. I think that's key. I mean, that's life. You're gonna make mistakes. There ain't no such thing. You're never gonna do everything perfect. If you're doing everything perfect, it's because you ain't doing anything new. You know?
Yeah, amen.
That's just the way it goes. And I used to be afraid of making mistakes. That was me. And so I would keep myself in a bubble, saying like, I don't want to make a mistake. I want to just stick with what I know. And I noticed after going out, you get a little unhappy because you're just like, is this all there is? And like I went through a phase, like, you know, since we're going to go touch into the whole mental health, I kind of went into the phase where I was actually unsure about what I was going to do with my life just because I kept myself boxed in. You know, I was like, is this all there is for me? Is what's going on in my life? And there are points where I had those I wouldn't say I was suicidal, but there was times where I was like, like if there's nothing for me, what the fuck am I doing here? You know? And so I thought I can either become a victim to those thoughts or I could turn it around and say, fuck it. You know, I'm a make something of this situation and just try to be me, because so much I was trying to be someone I wasn't, trying to portray myself as something you know, and just trying to maintain a perfect image because I was afraid of flaws and mistakes. But I learned to overcome that and just say, you know what? I'm gonna learn from this, man. And, you know, this is life. I gotta learn. And if you ain't like, you know, if you're not learning shit, what's the point of doing whatever you're doing?
Exactly.
I guess for me, like, I feel like, yeah, everyone's hit rock bottom. And I feel like from a personally bouncing back from my rock bottom, like, I'm happy for that rock bottom. You know, sometimes when I don't have fuel and like I feel like I'm stagnant, you know, I feel like I want to go back to that rock bottom because it's like, dude, I was a fucking animal then when I finally decided to turn that shit around, you know? And like poetically, like if you're gonna grow roots or plant seeds, it's probably best to plant it in rock bottom so your roots are deep. You know what I mean? So that way the tree, you dig? That's off the top, bro. That's off the top.
You dig? Is that a pun? You dig? That was a pun, bro. Not intended.
Yeah. I'm a poet. I didn't even know it, bro.
Bro,
Any rhyming. Wednesday freestyle too. I was fun.
But
that was deep, bro.
You know what I mean? Like if you're, let's say, someone who just started training because, oh, it's meditative, I want to do this, and my friends, like, you're not really that deep. Your roots aren't really that deep. So if that guy comes across someone who's like, yo, I've been fighting since I was 10 because like my family needed money and I'm from Thailand and I fucking, you know what I mean? Dude, like if it came down to where even the dude who does it for meditative purposes is beating up with technique, like when it comes down to heart, like the other dude's got him, you know what I mean? And if they both lose, I'm pretty sure the dude who's been through more can take that L. Opposed to the dude who's like, oh, I can't believe I lost, man. You know, and I need to be more meditative. And instead of like, shit, I lost one fight out of like, now I'm like 10 and 200. Got to get better. You know what I mean? Like those fucking, I had a conversation with a strength coach and we were talking about how tough Dagestani and Russians are. And I was like, you know what? I don't think the Thailand kids get enough credit for being tough. You know, like they call Mexicans being tough for boxing, which they are, but I think Thailand kids need to be also put in that category because like 10 or 12-year-olds already have like 50 fights under their belts, you know what I mean? And they don't even think they're tough. They're doing it just to bring rice back home and shit like that.
Yeah, bro.
It's life. It's literally life out there for them. It's life or death, you know? And we're so blessed in this country, we get to do it for fun.
Yeah, it's crazy because like when that 11 or 12-year-old loses, you know, like even if they're fucked up, like they're training for the next one, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's only when they get into big shows where boo, people are taking pictures and making a big deal that people are losing. I feel like they're like, damn, this is weird. It's like a circus instead of what I'm used to. And I feel like that's kind of like the Western world and like the new, I don't know.
No, it definitely is
New
like
world
the Western
order.
world, you know? No, I think it's definitely the Western world because let's be honest,
the Matrix. It's the Matrix.
Dicks. A lot of people in the West are dicks. Why do you think people don't like us?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just we kind of created that culture, really.
Yeah, and
really
before my pre-fight my pre-fight routine is usually I go to the float tanks or the isolation chambers before the fight. And
does that work?
Dude, you know, it did because then I start thinking about what if I get booed? I'm like, okay, now I can just breathe and sit in it. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like I was going to ask you, like when like my second fight, I heard people trying to tell me things during the second round. And I'm just like, I could hear them, but I really didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? That whole time I was aware of like, dude, I'm like, I didn't feel bad. I heard what you're saying, but I was aware that, hey, you're not in there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what would you do? Yeah. You telling me what to do over here? You know what I mean?
No, because when I saw him, I was like, bro, like if either of us were in there too, because my calves are soft, bro. Mm-hmm. Like he would have fucked my calves up too. So yeah, man. And you know, all we were really saying was put your hands up. But what we should have said was check the kicks,
or or switch stance. And I didn't even really know how to check the kick. I just thought lifting my leg up would check the kick. So he would kind of kick more a floppier base, which, you know, what was even more validating, dude, was years after that, Conor McGregor broke his leg, and I'm like, what a pussy. Yeah. You know, so I'm like, damn, like this is something that not a lot of people at the highest level haven't even figured out. So I don't even really feel bad, you know. If anything, I'm proud that like I came in undertrained, not even knowing about that, and lasted the fight. I was going forward the whole fight. That's the only reason I was getting like. So,
bro, you could have easily gotten swept.
And I broke his nose. So like at the end of the day, if you took pictures, I looked like I won the fight because there was nothing on me. You know what I mean?
Oh, you did. That's right, dude. Wow. Yeah, man. I think you did well, bro, because the training that we did was very like surface level, you know, and it was like let's go to LA Fitness on Tuesday. Let's go to Crunch on this day or whatever. It was like not construction. So. But you lasted the whole fight, dude, and that's admirable.
It's pretty cool.
100%.
It would have been too bad for my ego to win a Muay Thai fight without even training Muay Thai, you know. So I think what happened for a reason, and I'm cool with that.
Exactly, man.
But the thing about the float tank that was interesting is, I would think about all that, right? I'd be like, oh, what if I'm getting fucked up and, you know, it gets stopped, and kind of just try to accept that. But the thing that kept fucking with me, dude, is I would feel and I would think that there was a snake in the tank with me. I'm like, oh shit, there's a fucking snake. And that would send my body tripping, like alert, you know what I mean? Like my fucking, I'd have goosebumps and stuff. And I'd try to tell myself, like, what the fuck? Like, why would there be a snake in here? And then so I talked to my wife about it, and we're saying, hey, maybe that's something that we do to ourselves. Like we put that snake in there with us when there's not even really anything there. You know what I mean? So as far as me personally, that's my thing. Like I put a snake in there in my mind when there's not even really there. And that kind of trips me up and makes, dude, you see how like the goosebumps feeling affects your heart rate, affects your breath. And when your heart rate and your breath are a certain cadence, your mind starts thinking certain thoughts. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's why smoking is so meditative, because when you smoke, like you change your breathing pattern into like you're meditating, but with smoke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought it was beneficial for me, and maybe just, you know, I'm into that shit, like breathing and Wim Hof type shit. So.
Oh yeah, that's effective, bro. I tried that technique. It's kind of trippy, man.
Mm-hmm.
And all the cold showers, the ice baths, that's very effective, man.
But yeah, in this Matrix though, I feel like they feed into that. If anything, if I'm gonna use my personal example, they try to be like, hey, there might be snakes. You know what I mean? Hey, check out these snake skin. You know, they subtly put it out. They subtly put snakes in your tanks, so to speak. You know what I mean?
There's a snake in my boat.
Yeah. Straight up.
Had it with these motherfucking snakes.
On this motherfucking plane.
Sam Jack.
Yeah. I should have. He can relate. But yeah, I mean, like, do you guys use that, or do you guys try to diffuse your insecurities?
I actually got that same shit.
What do you mean?
Oh man,
you sound perfect though, I have to say.
Oh yeah, I actually changed the microphone to the webcam, so I should probably just do that. Nah, just that thinking there'd be a snake there, even though there wouldn't. Like, I actually don't do this anymore. But when I was younger, I guess when I was younger, I heard when I heard about drive-bys for the first time. Like ever since I'd heard about those, I used to think that every passing car was going to shoot me. And this didn't make sense. I lived in Irvine at the time. But I don't know, just like, it didn't make sense. But every time a car drove by, I just prepared myself. I'm like, oh, this is going to be it. This is going to be
It's a damn Irvine Crips.
I've just always been like strung up or whatever, just fucking anxious every time a car drove by. But I think I've gotten over that now. I think I've gotten old enough to figure out if there's not guns or whatever. I could be okay.
Do you remember how you feel though when you see a sketchy car? Like, would you like, oh, this is it?
Oh,
man.
yes.
This is it for sure.
Yeah.
You tense up, right? Like you're.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, especially in Anaheim, bro. Like, and you guys know I'm from the suburbs. I'm not a gangster by any means, but like, I'm like tatted from head to toe, bro. So when I'm walking around Anaheim, thankfully I have my dog. He looks like a little corgi. I walk around with my dog, and it kind of
thankfully
he's kind of my protection. It makes me look harmless, So
You
I'm
wouldn't
glad,
shoot a guy with a dog, would you?
With a big smile on his face, like, hell no, dude. And my name's Kyle, so whenever I've gotten hit up. I've gotten hit up in my wannabe gangster days, all right? So, like, in high school, there was that phase where everybody was wearing, like, white socks and khakis and shit. Listening to gangster music. So I went to Glendale. I went to Glendale one time, and there's Filipino gangsters over there, right? So me and my cousin was, like, all into the graffiti scene, and he was, like, the one who taught me about hip-hop and Gangstar, all that underground stuff.
Always the cousin.
And then, always.
Yeah, straight up, right?
Always those fucking cousins.
That's true, bro.
It's so funny.
It's the cousin from the hood, dude. Exactly. But long story short, bro, we were like, I think seniors in high school. We went to Glendale to like Barrio Fiesta or some shit, some Filipino restaurant.
Sounds about right, Max Chicken, baby.
That shit's still popping right now.
Max Chicken. And basically, we were just smoking a cigarette like outside. We stepped away from the restaurant, and there was like this guy in like flannel, khakis, Nike Cortez, Asian dude, like Filipino for sure, slick back hair. And then me and my cousin are kids, bro, and I'm from Irvine, so I'm like shitting my pants, right? But pretending like.
I'm Mark. What's up?
Yeah, but deep down inside, I'm like, I should go back and say hi to my mom, please. But basically, this guy approaches us and he's like, "Hey, where you guys from?" And I'm like, I'm from Irvine, man." And the guy's like, my cousin's like, "Oh, I'm from Santa Ana, dog." And the guy was cool, blah blah blah. We chopped it up for a little bit, and then my cousin was like, he was wearing Lokes.
Oh.
He was wearing Lokes, and he's like, "Hey, man," like when he walked away, like we made peace. He was cool because he knew we were younger. And my cousin was like, "Hey, dog, I thought you were going to take my Lokes." And I shit you not, this gangster turns around, bro, like all slow, like a movie. He's like, "If I wanted your Lokes, dog, they would be in my face right now." And I was like, "Let's go inside."
It's about the time I started crying. And
It was probably funny. He probably went in his car laughing. He was like, "Dad, that fool took that shit seriously." Because he knew you were kids. He probably just said, "I'm gonna fuck with these kids real quick."
For sure, dude. For sure. Absolutely. But yeah, those wannabe gangster days were so silly. So silly.
I had those days. You guys have those days?
I think most of us had those days.
I think, yeah, it wasn't either trying to be gangster or anything, just trying to be hard.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There wasn't a point where I was trying to be gangster. I listened to fucking all that shit, but I was like, yeah, I'm a real motherfucker.
Did anybody ever approach you guys?
Hit me up like, nah, I'm not trying.
Yeah, anybody ever approach you guys to be in a gang?
No.
Soft, bro.
What about you?
Yeah, dude. Fucking in middle school, I was a weird Filipino.
Cool, man.
I started hanging out with like the homies. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the homies, like the ones you get.
What city were you?
The vending machine, Buena Park.
Okay.
And they were cool, 7th grade, they were cool, but it wasn't until 8th grade, I think, because some of their friends in 8th grade went to high school, and so their high school friends got into gangs. So now they're trying to start off the 8th graders early into the gang. So when they transition to high school, it's like, you know, you're already, you know what's up. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they started like my group of friends at the time started forming gangs, you know, and they're like, hey, you're kind of brown, you know, because I don't want to even say, I didn't want to say or claim or, you know, say what they are, but they're like, hey, you want to get jumped in, because they would jump people in. There'd be a bunch of them going to the restroom. Then it all slowly come out, and like the person who got jumped in comes out all looking hard fucked up, you know, like their shirts torn, fucking knots on their head. But then you notice them like later that week, like he thinks he's hard now, he's recruiting people, you know. And I was just like, man, that's fucking weird. So like it ended up becoming like, oh, don't hang out with us no more because you're not in the gang, you know what I mean? Because I kept saying like, nah, dude, like I'm cool on that, you know. So I started hanging out with other people, but it's funny because then I saw this one dude that I knew was like sold into the gang life. So he joined in, and I was like, wow, bro, like I'm so glad I didn't, because slowly, one by one, those fools started getting expelled. I heard stories about like stabbing and stuff, because like being in a gang, like the spectrum of that could just be like, oh, we're tough, or like, shit, I need to prove myself. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the dangerous part when you mess with someone who's like not really in it, but now feels like they have to prove themselves to an actual gangster. So now they start trying to up the ante a little bit. You know what I mean? They become loco. They become a little crazy. So I think I was just cute on that. So luckily I ended up moving to Irvine. So, but shit, you guys went to Baghdad? But you know, they had them there too. You know that, Kyle? They have gangs in Irvine too. I heard some stories over there. Yeah, bro. I remember you lived on Red Hill, and right down the street is Myrtle Street. You got banged on one time, right? No, somebody stole the little mat on the bed of my truck when I went to your pad, bro.
God damn.
And I remember my dad was like, "Oh, when you go to his house, make sure you lock your door." And I was like, "Dude," it's not even that bad. Yeah. And then, you know, I left your pad, and then the thing on my truck was gone, and I was like, "Oh shit, Dad was right." Damn.
I hate when he's right.
Damn it, Dad. Myrtle Street is pretty dangerous, bro. I heard there's a lot of gangs right there.
And
Myrtle
Richie.
Street.
And Richie.
Yeah, Richie, exactly, dude. Right so, there. Yeah, I used to get my haircuts right there where Mr. Lee was on fucking Walnut. Remember by the bodega? Mm-hmm. There's a barber shop with the Vietnamese guy who doesn't speak English very well.
Right by the video store or what?
No, it's by that Mexican market by Yoshinoya.
Yeah, bodega. There used to be a video store.
Yeah. Video. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think. Yeah. So, good times, bro.
Sheesh. I remember that shit. Fuck though. I don't know. I had a conversation with a homie one time, and I kind of blamed rap music for making people kind of fantasize about being in gangs and stuff, because it's layers, you know. It's boys that want kind of like a clique to hang out with, like a family type of brotherhood type of thing. And like, there's an aspect of like, we're alpha males, we do what we want, we're hard, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's also cool because fucking all the rappers look cool, we're rich, you got the thing. So it's a matrix hack. It's a code.
No, that's just the problem with that kind of music too. It kind of, what they do is the reason why they're so rich is because they sell you that idea that being like that is cool, and they make you think that's what they're doing. But on the other side, these guys are at the fucking hood banging. These guys are staying at nice ass places and eating 5-star dinners and shit. But they're selling you the idea that being a gangster is cool.
Yep.
Yeah. But and people are buying into that, and that equals their sales. So they're like, they know their market. And that's the fucked up part of the music part, like the whole rap. They ain't gangster. Look at Rick Ross. He was a fucking correctional officer.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah, he was a correctional officer, man. And when that leaked, like everyone was giving him shit for it.
Yeah, 50 was all over that shit.
Yeah, 50 Officer Ricky. That's what 50 Cent would call him.
You mean Rick Ross? Huh?
Yeah, Mr.
Boss. The boss.
The boss. Yeah, he was the boss at the fucking prison. He was a correctional officer.
Wow, that's wild, dude.
That's why, like, all that shit they talk about is fake. They don't do that shit anymore. They don't do that shit no more. Because the moment they go back to the hood, they getting robbed. Look. I mean, rest in peace, PNB Rock. But look what happened to him.
That's so sad, bro. You think his girlfriend set him up?
I don't think so. I think she's just trying to, like, you know, people put everything on social media too much nowadays. That's the thing. And that's the thing. It's about clout. It's about flexing nowadays. That's the life now. If your Instagram ain't popping, no one give a fuck about you, you know?
Bro, I'm gonna say this right now. Clout is the first form of social credit score. Right now, it's like a phantom version of social credit score clout. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
But once that gets solidified, it's gonna be the new fucking social credit score.
Yeah,
you heard it here first on the K podcast, but
no, but yeah, I don't think the girl set him up. It's just they got lost in that whole clout shit. Everything's got to be on Instagram shit. You know what I mean? Post everything you got online, you're gonna get caught up. That's just the way it is. Someone's gonna see your shit and you'll be jealous. Like, oh, I know where this motherfucker is.
Damn, bro, that's so sad. Yeah, it was like a father and his son or something, right?
That's the fucked up part. The dad drove the getaway car.
Oh, for real? I didn't know that.
Yeah, the dad pulled up. The son robbed. I think the mom had something to do with it too. Like she was trying to like destroy evidence. And
she was on Google Maps.
But mad respect to PNB Rock because he. I heard that when he was about to get shot, he threw his girl under the table to protect her, and took the fucking shots, bro. And I was like, wow, that's a gentleman, bro.
That's what's up.
He threw his girl under the table, so that was pretty deep.
Yeah, that's.
Rest in peace, man.
I mean, at that moment, what are you gonna do? If the target's you, I'm gonna make sure it's me.
Yeah. Amen.
Hey, I mean, God forbid, but if someone shoots you, are you guys fucking trying to dodge that shit, or are you guys just gonna take it?
I'm a dodger, bro.
Yeah. I'm trying to dodge that shit.
I'm definitely trying to dodge it.
I had a year of track back in high school. My 100 meters was high.
Just don't do that shit. That one guy that's going viral on how to like dodge a gun. It's like that's not
the Detroit dude. The Detroit.
That's not gonna work, bro. Like that's not gonna work.
Try
zigzag, dog.
Yeah. You can't shoot
the guns in your face. You're like,
hey, you guys have shot guns before, right?
Yeah.
Like the recoil, like the first person, let's say someone picks up a gun for the first time, they're not gonna hit the target, right?
Yeah.
So
it depends.
Yeah, it depends. They could get lucky if they're not really aiming, but I feel like the odds of you dodging it and them missing is pretty high. It's like more than 60%.
Your odds do go up a little bit. Your odds do go up a little bit more if you try to dodge it, but if you stand in there, those odds ain't changing.
Fucking you dodge the first one. The shooter's like, oh shit. Like there's a moment of respect before the next one.
He's like, damn, this guy's good.
Oh shit, that's funny.
Yeah, Jay-Z always brags that he dodged like 3 shots or something. He was probably like 20 feet away.
Yo,
he was 100 feet away.
Can you imagine?
Dodge all the bullets.
Can you imagine Jay-Z dodging bullets like fucking Agent Smith was in The Matrix 1? Like,
nah, he just dove like in that one picture. I remember him diving into the water, thrown off the boat.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Hey, you shoot me.
Oh man,
you ain't shooting me. Dives.
No, but to bring everything back, like it's cool that we can, and I feel like it's getting more normalized to be able to talk about like mental health and like, you know, guys talking about what they're going through, not being like at the time, oh, that's weak, bro. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Suck it up. But the people in that gang mentality, you think those fools ever like, hey, fool, you good, fool? Like, are you depressed or what? Tell me what's going on, fool. You know what I mean?
They take that shit to the grave, bro.
Yeah, take that shit to the grave. And I mean, like, our parents are kind of like that. That's kind of like we're kind of breaking from that. And we have to, because this goes perfectly to our next segue. Like, I still call it the Matrix, because they're like artificial peer pressure that actually yields a behavior that they want. You know what I mean? So I feel like right now there's a lot of Matrix hacks that keep people insecure and keep people from coming on and be like, hey, I'm not doing good at time. Like you said, Instagram, social media, they're more like everything's perfect. You know, if someone's going through something, what's going on? They're not posting pictures. Oh, they broke up. You kind of have that mental chatter. You kind of put that snake in the tank. And what else? You got the music. I mean, we kind of listen to the same music, rap, hip hop. Like, as you get older, you do psychedelics and stuff. You get a little more aware. You start to realize that music's pretty toxic itself. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be hard all the time.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I don't want to wake up and think about fucking, if life's worth living, should I blast myself?
Yeah.
So
that's funny. There was like a meme I saw of like this cholo on a swing, and the caption said, "Everyone always says what's up, fool, but never knows what's up with the fool." I was like, "Oh, it's true."
Dude, you gotta post that. That shit's hilarious.
I'm gonna look for it, but that shit had me dying. I was like, and he's just like this on the swing.
And not just that, like, you know, as a man, like, you try to find a female, and like leads to a perfect cycle. Like, there's this battle between like female being like, what is it, toxicity? Yeah. Feminine toxicity and masculine toxicity. I mean, I'm not gonna say that it's only feminine, because like I know Andrew Tate and them are cool. I mean, like, to the point where they have truth in what they're saying. They are kind of jazzing up a little bit, but I will say that there's also an intense or too radical of a spectrum, or too radical of a side when it comes to Andrew Tate's political or philosophical views. You know what I mean? So
most definitely.
They're both guilty.
Yeah. I mean, he's trying to right so much wrongs with rights, but with the way how he's trying to project his explanation, you're just like, I mean, I understand that, but that's not how you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's just how it.
So think about that. I mean, as a guy, you got the music, you got the culture, you got your partners, and like, if you're eating shitty food, like, that affects you too subtly. Like, it's depressing sometimes. Like, when you wake up from all this shit and you realize stuff, you just know how much layers of shit you have to dig through to finally like reset and start over. You know what I mean? But that's like the rock bottom thing. You know what I mean? You want to clear out all the bullshit so the soil that you're planting is pure, kind of, in a way. It's kind of like spiritual and alchemy type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's on point, bro. And ironically, I was watching this YouTuber visiting Andrew Tate in Romania. And I'm not going to go into Andrew Tate shit, but what he was talking, he was fitting knowledge to the other guy on Fresh and Fit, like the thicker black guy. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. There's like the ex-federal agent who's very articulate on Fresh and Fit, and then there's this homie who doesn't really talk that much.
Okay.
Shit. And the guy, the YouTuber that went to go visit them, he just wanted to hang out with the Tates. He was making a lot of money, so he was able to, catch a flight and hang out with them and whatnot. But there was one part where he was spitting knowledge to the fatter guy who wasn't eating very well, and he was comparing the human body to an operating system. So for example, one of the other guys was on a 5-day fast, and he brought up the point of, are you going to overeat? No. Hold on one second. Are you going to you have two choices. You can eat whenever you want and let your body expend its energy on digesting the food, or you can intermittent fast, get on a good diet, and let your body use the energy to repair itself. And it was like profound, dude. It like blew my mind because our body is an operating system. You know, our digestive system, what you put in it is extremely important. Like I'm smoking this cigarette right now, and I'm like, dude, this is very hypocritical.
Drink a beer.
But it's yeah, and then he was even talking about the Matrix again, and he was talking about how there was like this guy that is close friends with the creator of Netflix, and he called Netflix a propaganda machine. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but he was basically saying that the Matrix or the powers that be intentionally put these fast food restaurants in urban cities and low income cities to really kill people, you know, to make them dumb and stupid and not be able to independently think, you know, because if you think about it, when you eat McDonald's, bro, I've been eating McDonald's like a fucking loser for the past week, bro.
It's
you
good.
know,
It's good.
and that's good.
Working off, it's whatever.
It sucks, but it's good. Yummy. I mean, as
Yeah,
far as
it's good.
yummy,
Come on,
it's yummy.
dude.
They got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I really noticed a difference when I was fasting and I was training like with Jarrell and I was running every day, bro. My ability to coherently speak and think and articulate my thoughts was on a different level. And now that I'm, you know, kind of a little bit low on money and I'm struggling a little bit and kind of recovering from this loss, I've been kind of like backsliding into my bad habits, and I'm seeing the difference in my quality of life, you know. So it's crucial, man, that we see our bodies as a temple. You know, that's kind of cliche, but as an operating system. I like that. I think it's more. Yeah, it's more. I guess for me, it's more powerful. It's more effective in my mind to see my body as an operating system, like a computer, and making sure that it's, you know, it's got enough RAM. I don't know much about computers, but the RAM is running properly, blah, 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 you know, and if it's not, then how are you going to become a high value man? You know, how are you going to be able to function in society and make the right decisions and wake up in the morning? I don't know if you guys are familiar with Jordan Peterson, but I think one of the most profound things that I read in his book, 12 Rules for Life, was make your bed in the morning. And I'm like,
that's the reason I do it, bro.
Morning. So I started doing that, and because after my divorce, that's when I discovered him. That's when I started, you know, reading the Word, the Bible. I started trying to get sober. I tried to, you know, throw myself into martial arts. And then Jordan Peterson really saved my life, bro. 12 Rules for Life. If anybody is interested in a good read, 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson is good. He came out with another book called Beyond Order, like another 12 Rules for Life, like a sequel. But you know, some of the rules in there, you know, you can just read the names of the chapters, and just from the names, they're powerful, bro. Like, I think one of the rules is stand up with your chest out and your shoulders straight, because
that's the first one.
It is. Yeah, it's the first one, right? Is that the first one?
Yeah, we spoke about that on the last podcast with Francis about lobsters, because now I looked into it. So let me just explain that for people that don't know. Lobsters, when they fight, the winning lobsters, they kind of stand in a more, you know, victorious, confident posture with their chest out, their shoulders back. You know what I mean? And the losing lobster kind of cowers and has a shitty posture. And when you do that, serotonin kind of flows and gets secreted more with a lobster that is victorious. So with the serotonin boost, you get more confident lobsters, which end up becoming the candidates for mates. You know what I mean? And the lobsters that kind of get the best food. And it's crazy because that also gets translated with us. I mean, like, we might take L's in life, but if you just hack yourself into standing, like being in a good posture of your chest out, your shoulders back, the serotonin will get secreted and you'll reap that benefits of the boost just by having good postures alone. And I think that also leads into like when you have good posture, you breathe better. You know what I mean? You're not as restricted in a cowering, slouched over posture. So that kind of leads into like your breath and your heart rate too. But just, some people need something physical in the cue. So just standing straight in a good posture and like controlling your breath and breathing from your stomach, you'll calm down. You know what I mean? If you're having those jitters of like Andrew said, when he sees a car, he gets kind of tense. Like if you like relax and you're like, hey, shoot me, bitch. You know what I mean? They'll be like, damn, that guy might shoot me.
That's what you call getting in front of it, right? Getting in front of your fear.
I'm trying that next time I see a car on the street.
But just you brought up Netflix being a propaganda machine. I don't want to go too deep into that, but Edward Bernays, you guys familiar with Edward Bernays?
Nah, who's that?
No.
Edward Bernays the call him the father of propaganda. So he's the reason that we eat bacon and eggs for breakfast. The farming industry had a stockpile of eggs and pork. So they're like, hey, how do we sell this? So Bernays did some like psychoanalysis and he somehow made a propaganda marketing agenda to be like, hey, eggs and bacon for breakfast. Like that's what you're supposed to eat. You know what I mean? And after that, like people's like right now, I mean, you see it. Eggs and breakfast, Denny's. Breakfast is eggs and bacon. You know what I mean?
Well, shout out to that guy for that, because
not just that, but he's the reason that people smoke cigarettes, because before then they couldn't really sell cigarettes. So he marketed cigarettes being sexy. So he made females look hot smoking cigarettes. So now you're kind of hot when you smoke cigarettes. You know what I mean?
If you smoke cigarettes, you ain't hot. Not
just that, the CIA worked with him too to get a whole country thinking a certain way so that they would vote for a certain. I'm just kind of just grazing over it. They would vote for a certain policy to pass for a war to be instilled. So he has a lot of he pulls a lot of strings, psychoanalytically, and how to bring this back to Netflix. His great nephew or great niece is the CEO of Netflix. He's also a Bernays. Make of that what you will. Bro. Matrix is not real. Matrix is fake. I mean, you decide. That shit's just all facts. You know what I mean?
That's very analytical.
Is that dude still alive?
Edward Bernays? I don't think so. But he obviously, Edward Bernays is related to Sigmund Freud. So it goes deep.
Oh, shit.
It goes
deep. That's the guy. You know what? Let's circle back to the breakfast thing, because if you think about the word breakfast,
break the
fast. Yeah, so it's more effective just from my own experience, man. Intermittent fasting, it allows your body, like I said, to put forth its energy to repair your system, right? But like you said, man, they had an abundance or an excess of bacon and eggs, so they try to push breakfast. That's so bad for you, bro. Like when you eat breakfast in the morning, it makes you feel sluggish for work, and then it makes you what? It leads to coffee because you feel sluggish, right? Which coffee has its own, downsides. And then, for me, I need to couple my coffee with a cigarette like a loser. So then, one thing leads to another. But circling back to the breakfast thing, that's profound, dude. What you mentioned about, what's his name? Edward Bernays?
Edward Bernays. Look him up.
Yeah, man.
I think he's the architect if this is all Matrix. You know what I mean? That guy might be the guy who wrote all the codes. Man. But going back to your body being an operating thing, I kind of imagine my brain being a garden. So I have like certain seeds that I want to plant. Like, I don't know, always be confident. You know what I mean? I don't know, like certain ideas of yourself, certain archetypes that you want, visions of yourself to be. And I think thoughts and your intention is what you water it with. So if I'm watering it with insecurities, and that plant's not going to grow to be what you want it to be. But if you're like watering it with like, oh no, I know this is hard, but I'm gonna get it done. Like that's good water and food for the metaphorical plant that you're trying to grow and nurture, you know?
Yeah, it's like manifesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really like using that word because every like basic bitch nowadays like I'm gonna manifest this. Like, bitch, you ain't doing shit. You just waiting for it to happen. You know, that's why I don't use that word anymore because everyone thinks that I'm gonna manifest this and it's just gonna magically fucking happen. No, manifesting is
be about it.
Yeah, manifesting is getting your mind right. You know, that's how you manifest. But yeah, that's basically what you were saying. I agree with that. You keep feeding your mind bullshit, you're just going to keep getting bullshit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you guys this. Well, Jarrell specifically, how do you, is it like an internal conversation that you have with yourself? Like do you intentionally like close your eyes and, you know, use that inner voice and you know, affirm yourself, I'm good, today's going to be good. Like how do you do that? What is your method?
Something a mentor told me is when you deal with something, it's not like final, like, oh, I finally beat that. Now, when you beat it, it's like, oh, that worked. That fool's going to come back. You know what I mean? I need to, if this works, I'm going to do this. If it doesn't, I need to outsmart him. So how do I counter his counter to me and counter that? You know what I mean? So sometimes I'll fight my insecurity with, like, hey, I'm just not going to listen to it. You know, I'll just play games and ignore it and then wait till I feel better. That's kind of like when I'm low energy. You know what I mean? When I'm at high energy, bro, I fucking talk back to that shit. Like, nah, watch. You don't think I could do it? I'm going to do that and I'm going to do this and I'm going to go work out. And then you can say whatever you want. The proof is in the pudding. You know what I mean? I put that shit in its place. Yeah. But I don't have the energy to always answer like that. So it's kind of in a spectrum of between those two. You know what I mean? Or
it's exhausting, dude.
Sometimes I went to this convention, and this guy named Sean Aker, he wrote a book about positivity, and he said an effective way to beat that is to noise cancel it. How noise canceling headphones work is they emit a frequency that kind of is opposite of what you're hearing, and it cancels out, I think, right? So if your thought is, oh man, this person knows I lost, you know what I mean? What thought can you think about that counters that? You know what I mean? So, oh, this person thought I lost. Well, that person wasn't in there, so that person's a bitch. So now every time I hear people thinking I lost, I look at them like, that person's a bitch, I'll fuck them up. Which is kind of toxic, but it gets me through the day, you know what I mean? It's not perfect, but it works.
It worked for Connor, dude.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to need to win. You're going to need to have some. Otherwise, you look like Connor, who's just talking shit every time someone wins. He goes, I could have beaten him. And it's like, bro, you can't even fight. Your leg's broken. So I can admit that it's not the best way. But like I said, like it varies. Yeah, it varies.
Yeah, I think like for everyone, they have to find something that works for them. What Jarrell said is probably not going to work for Andrew, and whatever Andrew does probably doesn't work for Kyle, and whatever Kyle does doesn't work for me. Whatever works for me doesn't work for PQ. You know, that's just how it is. There's no universal solution to this. It's about you finding that shit that works for you.
Right.
And if you're not looking for that, then you're never going to address it. How are you going to be better? You know.
Right.
But like Jarrell said though, like, you know, yeah, I lost, but let me see you come in here, bitch. I'll fuck your ass up. Like, if that's what gets Jarrell out of that mindset, that works for him.
Jarrell, do you really want that rematch, bro?
I want that rematch. Hey, if you're listening to this, fool, you know where to find me, bro. You know where to find me, bro.
I was not impressed by your performance.
and by the way, wait, let me just make my argument. He leg kicked me. I was in Muay Thai. I got points taken away, and it was a decision. Could have gone either way, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
That's just facts. Those are just the facts.
If you could have closed the distance and landed hands, you would have won, bro. But he took away your legs, and that was it, dude.
I feel like I barely touched him, and I broke his nose. I don't get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
dude, have you guys sparred with Jarrell? Anybody? Oh, bro, it's not fun, dude.
Sounds scary, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I can kick him, but his hands are pretty heavy, dude.
idiots.
But
You need to work on your chicks, bro.
Oh, dude, that's all I've been working for the past year.
Really?
So I can't wait till we go again, like in the future. So it'll be fun.
Hey, there's a PKB. You know PKB?
Nah.
Point kickboxing. So they have IFS point kickboxing on November 18th. There's still time to sign up. So basically, it's not in a ring. It's like 2 matches at once. There's like two different mats, and there's 2 fights going on at the same time. But it's a good way. You can't knock anybody out. So that's the weird thing.
I've seen it. It's like professional sparring, right?
Yeah, basically. But I think that's a good opportunity for you to get back, bro.
We'll see. I'm also like 33 and probably not trying to like, as far as like what I'm shooting for, you know what I mean? I feel like what I wanted was to get a dub in boxing, to get a dub in Muay Thai, and I feel like I graduated striking. So maybe get a dub in jiu-jitsu, and then if I was feeling good, maybe get a dub in MMA, and then just be like, I was 1-0 in everything. So like my karate in the garage is legit. You know what I'm saying?
That's karate.
So that was
not a bad idea.
that was my goal. And you remember, we spoke like I kind of wanted to open up my gym sometime in the future and teach eventually. And then I don't want to learn under someone's like, hey, have you fought? And be like, no, but I was into it. Like I want to be like, yeah, I'm 1-0 in everything. So fucking, you want to go or what? You know what I'm saying? I want at least that proof in the pudding. Is kind of what my goal was. But I'm happy to just be like, hey, this is as far as I took it. I didn't really take it that seriously, but for how seriously I took it, I did pretty good, and I'd rather learn. And at this point, I'd rather take damage when it's life or death instead of, I took damage for a fight that doesn't even really matter in the long run. You know what I mean? But I will get ready if I do get a rematch again with that guy, because it's like a chapter I need settled. You know what I mean? I could potentially get
remember his name?
Adrian something.
Yeah, he was Hispanic.
From Oxnard. His
fucking game.
His coach was a UFC fighter, bro.
Who?
Mike Fitch. And my coach was the homie. So we almost had that fool, bro. We almost fucking had those fools.
Holy shit, bro.
Yep. I did research.
I didn't even see him.
I think I have the video. I'll show you. Mike Fitch. He's a tall dude.
Okay.
But just to bring everything back to mental health, one effective way I want to put out there before I suggest a book that's really good, since we were talking about masculinity and like different poles of it, one effective way I deal with also, this is the more healthier way I deal with. If I'm ever thinking of a bad thing or something bad happens in my life, I write down in a journal, and then I think of a way, I'll meditate about it and think of a way how that negative is a positive. So let's say I get fired from a job, it's like, oh shit, I got fired from a job, all that, whatever. Now I'll write down my journal and think, how is this a blessing? Oh, now I can work anywhere I want, now I can go, now I have all this free time to see if I even want to go back in that field or test something out, or maybe even go on a vacation, take like a little break. So now that whenever you get triggered with that thought, it kind of answers to the new thought that you kind of programmed. You know what I mean? So in a sense, you're making your own hacks and hacking. It's all fucking Matrix, bro. So I just kind of countering that. And the book I wanted to suggest was, if you guys have heard of it, I think it's called King, Warrior, Magician, Lover. Have you guys heard of that?
Yeah, bro. The archetypes. Yeah.
Archetypes.
Hold on. I got the book, bro. Hold on 1 second.
Fucking, you guys should read that book. It tells you that there's, some people say, oh, I'm a nice guy. But then what do you mean? If someone comes in and takes your food, you'll just be like, oh, you want water too? You know what I mean? Like, no, you gotta be able to stand your ground and not be the nice guy. You kind of want to be nice, but also dangerous at the same time. So people don't want to test that. You know what I mean? There it is. But you want to be somewhere in between that, because you don't want to be too much of an asshole and you don't want to be too passive. So King, Warrior, Magician. There's a king version. There's a warrior version. There's a magician version, and there's a lover version. So You guys should check that.
And there's like different levels, different severities to the archetypes. Like a tyrant. Like Donald Trump would be like the tyrant or whatever, the king tyrant. It's interesting. Good read, man.
Love that book.
I agree.
So yeah, we're hitting that hour 30 mark. It was fun. Thanks for coming on, Kyle.
It's been an hour 30?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Hey, do you mind if I give a quick story?
Dude, go ahead. Perfect. I was trying to think of a way to end it, so this is perfect.
Yeah, so I know, we all know each other for the most part, and I think what I wanted to say, I've been thinking about this ever since Jarrell invited me on the podcast. I might as well just give you a quick rundown of what I went through when I got married. So I got married to the love of my life, bro. She was Puerto Rican. She was beautiful. She's now this like an accountant. She's doing well. I'm happy for her. But at the time, when did I get married, bro? I think I was like 24. She was like 22, and she was a born again Christian. I fell in love, bro. She was fucking perfect, man. But when we got married, as soon as we moved in, that magic went away, if you will. For us, I don't know, it's different for everybody, but for us, the magic went away. The sex wasn't happening anymore. We were stressed financially, and to be completely candid, I was unfaithful to her. She had to take on a lot of masculine energy because I wasn't pulling my weight, and she was kind of overbearing. She was a bit, like she had like that fiery Latina kind of thing going on. And we were fighting every day. And like one day I decided to just cheat on her, and I did it like 5 or 6 times with, undisclosed people. I'm not going to go into that, but, a week after, I was smoking a bunch of weed, and you know what weed does to you? It makes you fucking guilty, bro. It makes you think about some deep shit. So I was like, I'm gonna go confess. So I called my father-in-law, and because we were close, man. He's kind of young, so I felt pretty comfortable talking. I felt more comfortable talking to him about my shit than my own dad. So I straight up called my father-in-law. Her dad told her dad that I cheated. And he was like, this is how he responded, I swear. He was like, okay, meet me at Burger King. We'll have a talk, and we'll go from there. And I met him at Burger King, and he's like, are you going to tell her? And I was like, absolutely. And that's why I'm talking to you. And he's like, well, once you tell her, there's a good chance that you will hurt my daughter, and that you probably might get divorced because she's very stubborn. And I'm like, you know what? I was raised by a good family. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I broke my vows. We went through this whole process. We invited both of our families, and, I gave myself to Christ for this woman, and look at what I did. I backslid. I backslid and I cheated on her. So, long story short, I called her on the way home from work. I'm like, hey, babe, we need to talk. She was like, okay. She was like all happy, like, okay, I'm on my way home. Is everything okay? I'm like, yeah, it's good. Yeah, just meet me home. And she comes home, and I sit her on the couch, and she's like, she already knew. She's like, what the fuck is going on? What are you going to tell me? Did you cheat? And I was like, yeah, I cheated on you with like 5 people. And she fucking broke down, bro. She was like throwing pillows everywhere, just losing her shit. She's like, get the fuck out of my apartment, blah, 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 blah. Took all my shit, put it outside. She didn't like toss it. She was very nice about it, dude. She's like, carried my shit out to the front very nicely, stacked it up, and she's like, okay, you're out of here. And I'm like, all right. So I call my brother, told him what happened, and he's like, wow, good job, bro. Do you need me to pick you up? And I'm like, unfortunately, yes, I need you to pick me up because I got to go home. So funny thing is, I put all my shit in my brother's car, and I get home, and my Filipino ass dad, you know, he loves it when I come home because we don't live together anymore, right? So when I see him, he's like, oh, hello, what's up, man? What's going on? So we pull up to the garage, and he's like, hey, what's up, man? Miss you. How you doing? And I'm like, oh, Dad, we got to talk. And he looks at the car, and he's like, why is there so much stuff in the car? And I'm like, can you call Mom? We got to go have a family discussion right now. So we go inside, and I basically just tell them everything, and they're like, wow, why did you tell her? And I'm like, dude, wasn't that the right thing to do as a Christian man? Like, that was the right thing to do, right? And he was like, I guess, but you hurt her, you know, by confessing. And it, in a sense, I want to get your take on this. Do you think confessing infidelity is selfish in the sense that you're trying to rid yourself of guilt? Or do you think it's better to keep that from her to avoid hurting her?
So I think there could be two sides to that. But I think one side could be like, you got to think about her first. It ain't about you anymore, because you thought about yourself all those 5 times. You only thought about yourself. So fuck yourself real quick. Think about her. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, so you got to think about it. Like, okay, I'm going to tell her. Like, okay, yeah, you're going to tell her. But how do you think she's going to take it after, like you said, she had to pull the weight. She had to be more masculine because you wasn't doing shit, but she was still there for you, riding for you. And she's still supporting your ass. So I think at that point, it's just like one way out of there is just to say, hey, you know what? I can't do this with you anymore. You know, just say I can't. And just leave it at that. Just make it seem like you fell out of love, and you don't want her to be with you because it ain't fair for her. That's how you would explain it. And then you would just leave and deal with that guilt on your own, because she don't need that. You know, all along that whole time, she was trying to take care of you, and that was the thing she gets. You know what I mean? So that's how I see it.
That's true. No, I'm in agreement, man. And, you know, because it was like 10 years ago. Reflecting back, it wasn't the right decision to do that. But I thought, you know, it was kind of like virtue signaling. It was like, oh, I think the right thing to do is just to be honest. And I think everybody's going to, you know, look at me like I'm some saint because I confessed. But at the same time, looking back, it was selfish, dude. It really was. Because
you burned a lot of bridges just doing that. Because imagine, if you would have just told her like it ain't working out, maybe the dad would be like, hey, you know what? It's cool. Like, I get it. But now he knows why it didn't work out. And that's and now everyone knows that business. And that's also embarrassing for her. She's like, damn, Kyle cheated on you with 5 different, you know? That's just that's the part that she's going through on her end. And you're just dealing with it saying like, well, I dealt with my shit. I told her and I'm clear. But she's dealing with the lasting effects of it.
Exactly. But you know what's interesting? Circling back to you know, taking L's and how L's can actually propel you to something better. For both of us, it actually was probably the best thing that happened to us. Ironically, this is what I want to get to.
Blessing in disguise, then.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I mean, right now I'm struggling, but in that time, I was an atheist, and she now she's an accountant, dude, for like an airline company. I'm not going to disclose which one, but it's like a big name, you know, and she's doing. So
y'all keep in touch.
Well. Nah, I just lurk, bro.
Oh, okay.
I'll just be lurking. I'll be lurking on her LinkedIn. And I'm happy for it. No, not on some creepy shit, but I'm just
You just want to make sure she's doing okay.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, dude, she really fucking proved me wrong, bro. You know, so aside from her, you know, I'm happy for her, but for me in that time, I think this is what I want to, you know, for anybody that's watching, I'm just gonna spit this shit. Fuck it, bro. It forced me. So like, I'm sure everybody can relate. I'm going to talk about porn because this is something I've been fighting for a long time. most of us, I'm sure you would agree, have been dabbling in porn since we were like 13, right? Do you guys remember? Yeah.
I think earlier than 13. The moment I saw a piece of hair coming out of my balls, like, I'm ready.
Damn, you waited that long, bro?
Dude, I was like 7, dog. Come on, man. But yeah, man. So I'm sure you guys can relate when Kazaa came out. All those like downloading apps and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
bro. When
Asia Carrera.
When my parents, Asia Carrera.
Damn, bro, you went down that fucking pulled that file out.
50 now.
Nah, Shyla Styles, bro. Come on, man.
Shit. Who is
No, but
anyways.
No, on a serious note, I don't want to take up too much more of you guys' time, but I think this is really important for people to hear. So, when we were in high school, it's like locker room talk, bro. Like, me and my friends were trading porn. It was normal. Everybody's like, it's natural. It's natural. It helps you decompress. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, bro. Like, everybody jacks off. So, from 12, 13, all the way up until my divorce, I thought that shit was fucking normal, and, I used to couple that porn addiction with weed. For some reason, it just fucking feels so much better when you're having sex on weed. I don't know what it is, bro. But anyways, I would smoke weed and I would watch porn, and it just became this fucking addiction, bro. This constant addiction. And I attributed the anxiety that I acquired later on, because throughout high school, I wasn't really anxious. It was like when I started smoking weed excessively that I started to build an anxiousness. And I would attribute that anxiety to weed, to substance abuse, right? So even when I would quit, I'm like, damn, like, why am I still anxious? I'm not that social guy that I used to be. I'm not able to make eye contact with people. I want to stay home more often. I don't want to go out with my family. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I'm like 21 years old. Like, what the fuck is this, dude? The only time I would find comfort is going to the club and drinking, because, you get that liquid courage, right? And then when I got divorced, fast forward, and she left me, it forced me. I ended up living on my own. I moved to Stanton. She moved back to her parents' house. And in Stanton, it was like the hyperbolic time chamber, bro. I swear to God. Like, I was just alone in that room with my demons and my guilt. And I pulled out my Bible for the first time, and I started to understand what the fuck that shit was really about. I thought it was just a bunch of random stories, but once I started delving into like Job and, his brothers sending him to Egypt and all that shit, man, it was like my life started changing. I stopped watching porn. Well, you know what? Let me backtrack a little bit. I apologize. So I think what did you mention earlier about dopamine, Jarrell?
Oh, about the serotonin and like posture and stuff. So like the losing one always cowers in. Yeah.
Yes, the lobster. So I think one of the biggest problems that men face nowadays is instant gratification. And to be honest, I just want to be candid. I've been dealing with that for the past couple of weeks, just because of my loss. And cigarettes, whatever it may be, sugar, food, porn. Instant gratification is something that is really killing men, because for me personally, it was a way for me to just cope with my unsatisfaction with where my life was going, So every time I would feel sad, it was like, all right, Pornhub, boom, And I finally went on Google and looked up, is porn bad for you? And the first thing that came up was a Terry Crews interview. You guys know Terry Crews?
Yeah, I've seen that interview. Yeah.
Yeah, and long story short, man, I found the NoFap community, and I realized, I mean, think about it this way, bro. If semen is powerful enough to create a human being, a living creature, there is no point in wasting it into a tissue or a sock, because just from experience, I tried to abstain from it for a whole year. I would try to get like a 3-day streak, 4-day streak, and then relapse. 5-day streak, relapse. I did that hundreds of times up until I finally got to a 3-year streak. I shit you not, bro. I got to a 3-year fucking streak of not jacking off, no ejaculation, no sex. One, because girls didn't want me, right? Because I was just a fucking loser. But 3-year streak of abstaining from porn, abstaining from all these things, giving my life to Muay Thai. And I swear to God, bro, I'd wake up in the morning every day looking at the mirror, actually feeling genuine love for myself, genuine acceptance for who I was, because I had no more guilt in my soul. I had made my amends with, the higher power, and I felt like I had atoned for what I had did to my ex-wife, and I believe that atonement came from punishing myself and starving my desires, my need for hedonistic pleasure, right? And in doing so, in suppressing that need for instant gratification, for busting a nut or smoking a cigarette or wanting an ice cream cone, whatever the fuck it is, bro. In suppressing that, everything else in life became more beautiful again, because when you're constantly jacking off and you're constantly, objectifying women, that's another thing. Mm-hmm. When you're watching porn, you're breaking your neck, like looking at bitches all the time, like damn. But when you abstain from that shit and you stop watching it, bro, you walk out of your door in the morning and you look at the sun, you're like, damn, life is fucking beautiful, dog. Music is beautiful. Like everything else is so much more stimulating and so much more vibrant when you're not getting those dopamine dumps.
You're kind of overdosing on pleasure. So when you do that, just like a dessert, like it's not even a dessert anymore. It's like I would even say that with smoking. Like every time, like I'm smoking weed, like I feel like you try to chase that first time being high because it's not the same. You know what I mean? And it's never going to be that. And like, I feel like that's what the addict has to deal with. You know what I mean? The addict, it doesn't matter what's in front of it. It always tries to chase that certain dopamine release. And I mean, like with porn, like men who are having sex that much, let's say you jack off 6 times a day, you better be fucking Hercules or some shit, not just fucking like John Martin from like, fucking Santa Ana and shit, like just jacking off 8 times. Like you're tricking your body and your mind. Like you're supposed to be a high value male if you're releasing that much, because obviously like you're having sex, you know what I mean? And females want to have sex with you because you're a high value male. But if you're not, then you kind of have that fake confidence because your body's like, oh damn, I busted like 8 nuts, I'm the shit. But like you were just in your bed, you know what I mean? And like you made a hot pocket and you went back in your bed and you probably took a shit and went back to bed, and now you feel like, you know what I mean? Like it creates like a self, like it creates a fantasy and like a dream world. If you ever want that, and like you said, like instead of going out and talking to girls, because if you have that buildup of like the no fap, then you're kind of more, what do they say, potent, right? You have more. You're more. Starts with a V, I forget. But anyways, you're kind of more masculine.
Viral.
Yeah. And that's
virile or something.
That's more attractive to the female. But if you're a male, like, you don't really go as hard to try to attract and build a connection with someone because, one, you have that built-in, I just go jack off. I know a porn star that looks like this bitch anyway, so I'll just go jack off when I get home.
Yeah.
Or it's like, man, you're in your body, as far as like your chemical, and you talked about your body being an operating system. If your meters of, I need sex is already low, then you're just like, I already came. You know what I mean? That's where like post-nut clarity comes from. But there is a good thing. You know what I mean? It depends how you use it. I had a conversation with Juan on the podcast previous to this, and he was talking about like good and bad. Like, that's kind of like, it's subjective too. You know what I mean? Like, porn does have its uses, but just like anything, like, it could be destructive. Like, candy could be destructive. Water could be destructive. Hanging out with your homies could be destructive. Too much time being comfortable can be destructive. You know what I mean? But at the same time, too much time being uncomfortable can be destructive. So it's all a balance. Like, people who have probably like, who are nervous having sex go through therapy where they say, hey, try watching porn, and that helps them open up and they have, a better sex life. So I don't think you should really like bash yourself and degrade yourself, because that's also a matrix thing. You're talking about Christianity, and Christianity, dude, like I grew up Christian. That shit, that's a fucking program itself, dude. How many versions of Christianity has there been? You know what I mean? Like, it's like an iPhone. We're like in like 20s right now. No fucking way, bro. Like at the peak of Christianity, if you're a Christian, it's just to be Christ-like. All the other go to church and stuff. I talk about this all the time. When Jesus was doing his thing, who was the number one public enemy of the church? Jesus. So now you got to go to church to get Jesus? Fuck off with that bullshit, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you're kind of just building a religion to trap people, and like what you're doing, like, was confessing to your girl a bad thing. Jermaine, I your point was beautiful. Like, I really like your point, but there's some cases where if you confess, it's like, there's some girls I know that'll be like, hey, I trust you more. You're able to tell me. Yeah. You're able to tell me. It just didn't happen like that, and that's just like the life lesson. You know what I mean? Yeah. So in some cases that might have made your relationship stronger, and your dad would be like, hey, don't ever do that again. Back in my days, I had a few of my little, you know what I mean? Yeah. So whatever, dude. You know what I mean? Life happens. And for you personally, your vision of religion, of you owning up to it, that's your definition. You made right with that. That's cool. If Andrew's over here like, no, like, you shouldn't have done that, that doesn't matter. If I'm over here like, it doesn't matter. If Jermaine, even if your dad goes, it doesn't matter, bro. It's for you. You know what I mean? So like, it's all about what you feel is right. At the end of the day, like you've read what's it called? The something man. Way of the Superior Man. The chapter was crazy, but as a man, you kind of have to live. You kind of have to live like your dad is dead, because you need to make your own decisions. You need to make your own. You know what I mean? Yeah, you need to make your own traditions, and you need to be your own man. So for you, like, if you teach your kids, hey, never lie. You know what I mean? And you're instilling that because of your personal experience, then you're probably that's probably the origin story of you becoming like a really honest man. You know what I mean? So that's a perspective that probably drives you. So just stick with that perspective. There's going to be that perspective of like, there's a snake in this tank too, of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. There's no snake in the tank, bro. You're putting the snake in the tank, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like what Jarrell said, it don't matter what I say. It don't matter what anyone says. But I think the whole takeaway is you have to do what you feel is right in that moment, but you also have to understand that sometime down the line, you're going to realize maybe that wasn't the right thing. Mm-hmm. And you're going to just have to deal with it then. But always do what you feel is right at that moment. And later on, you can go back to it and realize, was that right? And that's how you grow from that. That's how you change from that. That's how you give yourself that growth needed to move on. Because like I said earlier, you can think you're making the right choice, but maybe later on you'll realize, hey, that was a mistake.
Bro. And also there's also a reality where you didn't tell her and you guys are still married. And then you're cuddling with her with that shit in the back of your head, and you're still cheating. So like, what's more honorable for you? And there's also the reality of she gets married, she gets a divorce, and she goes back to you because like, hey, I appreciate your honesty. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you either take her back or you already in a relationship. So don't like limit yourself into one movie. Mm-hmm. Ask a bunch of different directors and then go with, you know what I mean? Figure out. Yeah. I like Juan said cinemagic. So a bunch of movies, you know what I mean? They're like moving pictures and they paint like an image in your head. So just, you know what I mean? Like there's different versions of the story. You don't have to read just horror. You can go to action. Like this could have been like, man, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have been a Muay Thai fighter. Dude, you're more dangerous than you were before. So that's makes you a high value man. You're already honorable as honest. You have this gratification for honesty. That already makes you a higher value man. And you have experience. So the only person who's degrading yourself is you. You're putting the snake in the tank.
In the tank, right. And you know what, bro? I'm gonna finish with this. Because I don't know who was talking about it. I think it was Chael Sonnen or Michael Bisping. No, it was Chael Sonnen. I don't know. You know who that is?
Yep.
Well, in fact, Michael Bisping works out next to my house. I see him all the time.
Oh, shit.
He don't see you all the time.
No, Anaheim Hills.
Because his eye, he's got one eye.
He works out here. Like he lives in Anaheim Hills, and I see him at the LA Fitness right here a lot.
Wow. I'm going, bro. I love that fool.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Hey, but let me finish with this point, man, because you made a really good point about, you know, becoming a high value man and you know, changing your perspective on it. Chael Sonnen was talking about Sugar Sean and Israel Adesanya. You remember that fight with Israel versus Kelvin Gastelum?
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
And you know how he was like, "I'm ready to die." You remember that part? Where he said that?
Yeah.
Chael made up a point because you know, nobody really thought Sugar Sean was going to beat Peter Yan, you know, but he made a point. I don't know. I'm not really good at articulating what other people say, but he said something along the lines of Israel and Sean went into the deep waters and really found who they were because they went into the deep waters. You know, and if you're fearless enough to go into the deep waters, you might just find something in yourself that you never knew was there. And in this situation, it forced me to fucking fast, to quit smoking, to fucking quit porn. And I went to Team Oyama, gave my whole life to Muay Thai, bro, and became a warrior. Not on some like egotistic like, oh, I'm a fucking warrior, dog. Yeah. But like literally like I like just waking up in the morning, I literally built habits that became like concrete habits. Wake up in the morning, put on your fucking gym clothes, go for a 3-mile run, come back, take a cold ass shower, don't eat breakfast, go to work, fucking after 11, eat a green drink, after work, go train for 4 hours, rinse and repeat, you know? And I never did that before. And then in doing so, within that whole year after the divorce, going to Team Oyama, training with these fighters, I literally could keep up with some of the pros. You know, I was literally at the peak of my physical ability, bro. Like I was getting fucked up at first. You know, I was getting my ass beat. But then like after like 6 or 7 months, people were like, damn, dog, like you hit pretty fucking hard. And I'm like, really? Yeah, all this shit is working. Right. I should never watch porn again, you know? So, you know, despite what I'm going through now, right now is just a fucking speed bump, you know? But for anybody who's listening, you know, whatever adversity you're going through, whatever shortcomings you've had, as hard as it is, as hard as it may be to deal with the emotions of a loss or the pain of a loss, the pain of a breakup, just know that something good will come out of it if you don't give up. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, that's all I have to say, bro. I know, like right now, like I said, I've been watching porn. I've been fucking up a little bit just because I got to get through like my work days and whatnot. But I know what the next fight camp, bro. The next fight, I'm going back to that hyperbolic time chamber, and I'm gonna fucking, you know, fuse with Trunks, you know, and fucking become Ghost Tank, dog. Like, I'm going hard, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Kyle, where can people find you, man?
People can find me at on Instagram, sourceglory. My name is Kyle Lopezvito. I want to just be honest. My record is 1-2 right now. I'm an amateur Muay Thai fighter, but
that's better than me.
I'm undefeated.
But we have good fighters around us. Like Jarrell said, we all want to start gyms. We all love this shit, and despite my record, man, we're warriors at heart. Filipinos. That shit runs deep, man. So we're gonna come back, dude. You and me, Jarrell. We're gonna come back. We're gonna get a really good record, and we're gonna fucking kick some ass, dude.
Damn, it's probably our longest podcast, but sheesh, I think people need to hear this too. You know what I'm saying?
I
need to hear this.
I think it was great because, this is something that there's a stigma that men can't talk like this. And I like that we can talk like this as, 5 masculine men here that, sometimes we went through the phases where we want to act hard, but then you realize that acting hard ain't shit.
It ain't
being
shit,
real.
dog.
Being real and being open and talking about how you, like, what's going on with you, what's fucking with you is real. That's what matters.
Being real is hard.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, so as to wrap it up, I just wanted to say, like you said, you're gonna go through shit. That's life. But at the end of the day, something good is gonna come out of it. And one thing I like to think about is, like, someone told me this once when I was kind of at the bottom. He said, "Hey, steady seas never made great sailors." He's like, so you got to ride those fucking waves, man. He's like, because that's what life is. It's going to come at you at waves. And if you're just going to stay at the beach and watch it go by, life is going to go by.
And what did Jesus say when Peter was on the boat tripping out? Wasn't Jesus like, chill the fuck out, dude? Everything's going to be good, bro.
Yeah.
You believe in me, motherfucker.
Yeah. You still here.
Those were actual quotes, by the way.
Yeah, as in Paul's.
I think Jesus was like us. He's like, yo, chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
He's like, water's
He's like
fine.
kicking back like on the boat, like, fuck y'all tripping about?
Yeah, I'm about to make this shit wine, motherfucker. Watch.
Watch me walk this water, bitch.
But yeah, so just to sign it all off, man, Kyle, thank you for coming on and giving us that, being personal with us, because I think that's valuable, because there's someone watching right now who's probably going through what you went through, like with your marriage or your downside, and they can look at this and say, you know what, if they can find a way to handle it themselves.
Yeah, man.
And I think that's the value with this episode, and everyone here has shared their experiences, and I think that's the best part of this. This is the whole point of what Cave is trying to do. Connect, be a community, promote that, we're all together in this, So with that said, I like to just tell anyone who's watching this, if you're going through shit, man, you can reach out to any of us. I don't pass judgment. Talk to someone, talk to me. I mean, there was times when, I talked to like Jarrell. There was a time where I was helping him out with his shit. I'm not going to disclose that because that was just between me and him. But Kyle, you going through shit, you can hit my line. Andrew, I offer to everyone. PQ, hit me up.
Bro, that means a lot, man, because, I know we got to close this. I'm fucking extending this shit a lot, but, I'm going through a bout of loneliness right now. I'm not like saying like, oh, I need a hug, but, loneliness is a real thing, and it's important that we have a community, and going back to the Christian thing, I think one good thing about that Christian life is that there's a community that you can rely on. There's some sketchy ass people at church, bro, which is why I left, but
for sure.
There's some fake ass motherfuckers, dude. Like, people.
Honestly, you're not lonely. You know why? Because you got us here right now. You know what I mean? Don't mistake that for being alone all the time. You got us here right now. You're not lonely. You got your dog.
Hey, there's no snake. There's no snake, bro.
Yeah.
There's no snake.
It's just sometimes you got to find the beauty in being alone.
Absolutely.
Right now you're just alone, and that's it. And you need people to talk to. We here. You're not lonely, bro.
It's lonely at the top, brother. It's lonely at the top, man.
No. It's lonely at the top. Only if we don't all get there together. You know what I mean?
Hey, I actually have a quote for that. They say it's lonely at the top, but they say that only so you stop. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But yeah, with that being said,
with that said, Patrick's watching porn right now. I'm just kidding. Look at his avatar. He's totally watching porn right now.
He's on that Tara Patrick right now.
Oh damn!
No, but yeah,
Morpheus on the computer.
Yeah. So for everyone watching, it's cool, huh?
You got book recommendations? I got a couple. If you guys want some.
Yeah, let's end off with that.
Yeah, give me some book because I don't read books.
So the power of now.
Oh yes, Eckhart Tolle, sir.
Yeah, man, that's a life changer.
It is.
The only thing I've ever read was Art of War. That's it.
That's a good one too.
Yeah. Courage is Calling by Ryan Holiday. It's a Stoicism book. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Stoicism. Yeah, so Ryan Holiday is a good one. If you look at Daily Stoic on YouTube, super good stuff. Just about, if you guys aren't familiar with Stoicism, it's really just about, how you respond to things that happen to you and not worrying.
My bad.
And not worrying about things that are out of your control. What is he doing? Is he really jacking up?
I think Andrew's laughing at the fucking avatar still.
Avatar is funny.
I'm trying not to laugh either. I'm trying to listen to Kyle here, and I'm watching.
Imagine Pat comes back on. He's like, "Oh, what I miss?" Oh, my bad, Kyle. He's sick, bro. I think he just forgot to get out.
No, he said he's been coughing, so.
Yeah.
Oh,
feel better, Pat.
He's watching, yeah.
Yeah, but Stoicism, one other one is Marcus Aurelius Meditations. That's a good one too.
Yeah, that's in my queue. I think for me, keep it simple. I already put one out there, King Warrior, Magician Lover, but The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Oh yes,
dude! Everybody should at least. It's easy to read. It's not too long. I feel like everyone should start off with that one.
Yeah, we should put these book recommendations in the
our monthly book club.
No, we should put the book in the description of the video. We'll put these book recommendations down there for everyone.
We should do a challenge, like a monthly book challenge. You got to finish a book in a month.
Kind of down for that.
Hey. I got Captain Underpants.
Oh, damn. Bhagavad Gita.
Like, I got this really important book I want you to read. It's called Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
I ain't going to finish that in a month. I'll watch the movie and give you some.
Watch the movie instead.
Bhagavad Gita is another episode, bro. We'll have you back on, Kyle, for sure. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, hello. Yeah. One more thing, dude. You mentioned I saw your guys' post on the recommended movies. I saw Coherence. That shit was crazy, bro.
You saw that shit, bro?
What the fuck was that about?
Damn.
Oh my god.
That movie so low budget too, right? Like they didn't have any sets, no special effects, but mind blowing. If you guys haven't seen that movie, Coherence, mind fuck. That's all. That's all I can really say.
The other two that you recommended, Brightburn and
VHS.
Who's the other one, bro? Yeah, those you have to pay for. Are there any ones that you would recommend tonight that you don't have to pay for, like on Prime?
You guys have Hulu?
What do you have?
It's on Hulu?
I think Brightburn was on Hulu.
What do you have?
Okay.
What streaming service do you have?
I have Amazon Prime, HBO Max, and Netflix.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Something like cerebral, something like trippy, bro.
Man, have you seen Donnie Darko was on Netflix? I think that one's always good.
Oh yeah, that movie's crazy.
I'm trying to see what
Into the Void.
Like there was it was more of a documentary. It's called Perfect Fungi. That's a good one.
Perfect Fungi. Okay.
On Netflix, it pretty much just breaks down how this guy went down the road of just discovering the benefits of mushrooms.
Okay.
Have you seen that's a fucking movie with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman.
Eyes Wide Shut?
Eyes Wide Shut?
Yeah, have you seen that shit?
Yeah. I saw a little bit of it, but it was creepy, bro.
Okay, just watch it.
Shit.
That's it, bro. Just watch that.
Just watch it?
Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Okay. Is it worth it though?
Oh man, Kyle, call me after you watch that movie, bro. I'll be done talking about that shit because there's a bunch of like explanation videos on top of that, so you'll definitely want to hit someone up after that. It's crazy because it talks about you might relate to it, bro. It's scary. It's scary.
And so the movie I wanted to give you was I had to look at it because I forgot the title. Called The Platform. It's on Netflix. It's good.
Bro, the elevator with the food.
Yeah.
That movie's fucking trippy, bro. It's disgusting, man.
Yeah.
That was good.
Or Horse Girl. That one's that's kind of crazy too. So there's a lot of good shit on Netflix if you're just willing to like look at, you know.
But fuck Netflix. Fuck the Britneys.
They're controlling the message.
Yeah.
Oh, one more. Night Sky. Have you guys heard about that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, it's fucking good, dude.
Yeah.
Night Sky on Amazon Prime. Watch that shit. And Peripheral just came out too. That shit is crazy. It's from the makers of Westworld. 5 stars on Amazon Prime, dude. Peripheral. Highly recommend.
Nice.
There's a last recommendation. There's a movie on Amazon Prime called The Legend of Baron Tao. It's from it's like wrestling and like kind of like a movie about boyhood to manhood too. So you guys, dope ass movie.
Okay.
All right. K Podcast, baby. See you guys on the next one.
Yeah,
thanks for coming, Kyle. Sign in.
All right.
Appreciate you,
boys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Later, man.
Thank you.